this is a test. This is a test. Make sure that we have the correct mic set up. I don't know if I do or not. I gotta make sure that I got the right mic so you guys can listen to me talk about things and stuff. Fucking, fucking, hold on. I find, there it is. That's impressive. Yeah, that's not the right mic. Let's try it.
Testing, testing. 1, 2. This is a test. Hopefully this one works better. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, hello. Drop frame rates. Don't do that. Alright, now we got this going on good.
Because if you concentrate on a figure,
Alright, let's make
you
sure
tend
that's
to
working
ignore
too.
the background.
Do.
You tend, therefore, to see the world in
There
a
we go.
disintegrated aspect.
Alright, I apologize for any kind of echo.
You
if
take
there is
separate
any echo,
things and events
Hi everyone,
seriously,
welcome to
imagining
Stormbound.
that
I
these
don't know if
really
any of you
do
guys know this.
exist,
This is a game
when actually
for the phone that they decided to release for Steam. So you can download this game for free. It's a free game. But it started off as an app for your phone. So of course it's mostly pay to win, but this game is hella fun. You get to it's like a card game, but not really at the same time. I don't know. You'll see when I start playing it. But I decided, like, why don't we play this game while also get the sound effects, while also listening to some Alan Watts, because Alan Watts is like the fucking man. I don't know if any of you guys know who Alan Watts is, but he's a fucking genius. He's a philosopher from like the 1970s, I want to say. And he just talks about life and how things should be and blah 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 blah. So you can learn with this man, and I hope that us listening to him together can help you figure out anything that's going on in your life. I know for a fact he's definitely helped me. He's helped me open my mind to different ideas and such. So I figured, why not listen to him while playing a really chill game. Like, this game is chill as hell. You don't really do a whole lot. Hold on a second. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into some philosophy and some gameplays and stuff.
they have the same kind of existence as an individual
Probably not going to be talking a whole lot.
Rorschach.
I'll talk when I feel like I need to talk.
They're what you make out of it. In fact, our physical world is a system of inseparable differences. Everything exists with everything else. But we contrive not to notice that, because what we notice is what is noteworthy. And we notice it in terms of notations. Numbers, words, images. What is notable, noteworthy, notated, noticed, is what appears to us to be significant, and the rest is ignored as insignificant.
God, things so loud.
And as a result of that, we select from the total input that goes to our senses only a very small fraction. And this causes us to believe that we are separate beings, isolated by the boundary of the epidermis
Oh, real quick.
from the rest of the world.
Baby.
Thank you so much
You
for joining
see
the
this?
dance party.
is also the mechanism
Both of you.
involved
Thank you so much.
in not noticing that black and
Means a lot
white
to
go
me.
together. Not noticing that every inside has an outside.
Baby.
And that the inside, what's inside, goes on inside your skin is inseparable from what goes on outside your skin. Do you see that,
Baby.
for example, in the science of ecology, one learns that a human being is not an organism in an environment, but is an organism-environment. That is to say, a unified field of behavior. If you describe carefully the behavior of any organism, you cannot do so without at the same time describing the behavior of the environment. And by that you know that you've got a new entity of study. You are describing the behavior of a unified field.
He wasted his
You
turn
must be
getting
very
rid of that,
careful indeed
so
not
I'm
to
just gonna
fall
do
into
this.
old
Try to
Newtonian
stay up in his face
assumptions
up here.
about the billiard ball nature of the universe. The
I should probably
organism
say hi
is
to
not
him.
the puppet of the environment, being pushed around by it. Nor, on the other hand, is the environment the puppet of the organism, being pushed around by the organism.
And he leaves. Lovely.
The
That's great.
relationship between them is, to
I
use
just
John
wanted to say
Dewey's
hi to the
word,
guy.
transactional. A transaction being a situation like buying and selling, in which there is no buying unless somebody sells, and no selling unless somebody buys. So that fundamental relationship between ourselves and the world, which is in an old-fashioned way by people such as Skinner, who has not updated his philosophy, interpreted in terms of Newtonian mechanics. He interprets the organism as something determined by the total environment.
Oh no.
And he doesn't see that in a more modern way of talking about it, we're simply describing a unified
That's
field of
pretty neat.
behavior,
If you look on here,
which is nothing more than what any mystic ever said. That's a dirty word in the modern academic scientific environment. But if a mystic is one who is sensibly or even sensuously aware of his inseparability as an individual from the total
you probably guys have no idea what these
existing
cards
universe.
do. Whenever
He
you
is simply
play
a
a card, he
person
tells you what they do and what they
who
specifically
has
do. This
become
card here, it spawns 3
sensible,
frogs when it dies. This
aware
guy spawns
through his senses
2. Wow, it's a level 3 and
of
only
the way
spawns 2. That's kinda
ecologists
horrible.
see the world. So when I'm in academic circles, I don't talk about mystical experience. I talk about ecological awareness. Same thing.
I figured that would happen.
And
this guy's
so
kind of
the
broken.
next aspect
he
of
makes
our
a zero
metaphysical
to play
introduction
0 cost unit with 6 strength to my
must be
deck
about games.
just by playing him.
Do you know, I think there are really 4 questions that all philosophers have discussed from the beginning of recorded time.
That seemed like a waste too. What was that?
First is who started it.
And a random target bordering it. Yeah, that was kind
The
of.
second is, are we going to
in
make
my
it?
opinion, at least. I don't know.
The
I don't play like
third
I play.
is where are we
so
going
this
to
guy's
put it?
great. If only it did 6,
And the
and I
fourth
could
is who's
convert
going
him
to clean
over.
up.
So I'm going to do this instead.
When you think these over,
So
it
the next
poses a
turn, it's
5th
gonna-
question.
Boop.
Is
Done.
it serious? And that's the one I want to discuss.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Is
Move
existence
twice. Yes, it
serious?
does.
Like
And
you
now
say,
back to here.
doctor, after he's looked at your X-ray picture, is it serious? What does that mean? Means, am I in danger of not continuing to survive? But the basis of it all is this, then. If we say,
Oh,
you
damn.
must survive, or I must survive,
Wait,
life is
wait, watch
earnest,
this.
and I've
So I move
got
these
to
guys
go
up here
on.
so I can play a card up here. That's what this line is.
Then your life
And then I put this
is a
here.
drag.
And bam, it's mine.
and not a game. Now,
And
it's
there's
my
my-
contention,
my
my
zero
personal
cost
opinion,
card.
this is my basic
Oh,
metaphysical axiom, shall we put it that way,
Sucks him up and kills him.
that existence, the physical universe, is basically playful.
Alright, so since I have the 0 card, I'm going to play this.
There is no
And
necessity
then
for it
move
whatsoever.
up. And then use this to kill them, almost. Leave
It
one
isn't
alive.
going anywhere. That is to say, it doesn't
This is the
have
correct
some
one.
destination that it ought to arrive at. But that it is
can't
best
tell. I hope
understood
it
by
is.
analogy with music.
Oh, I didn't see what happened. Oh, okay. Crazy bombers.
Because
Alright.
music,
That's
as an
not- that's
art
not
form,
horrible.
is
So
essentially playful.
what I'm
We
gonna
say
do
you
here
play
is
the
this
piano.
card
You don't
drains
work
4
the piano.
strength from stronger units.
Why?
It's completely
Music differs
yeah,
from,
man.
say, travel.
And then
When you
because they don't,
travel,
I don't
you
have
are
any enemy
trying to
units
get
here,
somewhere.
I'm gonna play this one just so I can
And
get
of course,
another
because
zero
being a
cost
very
card.
compulsive and
So these zero
purposive
cost cards
culture
stay in
are
your deck
busy
and also
getting
get
everywhere faster
recycled
and
in the
faster
deck.
and faster
It's not like you
till
can
we
only use them
eliminate
once.
the distance between places. I
So
mean,
that's why I think
with
this card's
the
super
modern
broken.
jet travel, you can
As long as you
arrive
play it in
almost
moderate, because you don't want your entire
instantaneously.
deck to just be
What
zero
happens
plate
as a
cards.
result of that
You need to play
is that the
cards that
two
have effects
ends
too.
of your
And now that
journey
I'm thinking
become the
about
same
it,
place.
I think
So
this
you
is a
eliminate
computer.
the distance.
They're acting way too
And you
fast.
eliminate the
Thank
journey.
you so much for
Because the
joining
fun
the
of
dance
journey
party.
is to travel,
I'm sorry I was
not to
talking when I was
obliterate traveling.
Commander Root, thank you so much for joining the dance party.
So then,
I like dancing.
in
Dancing is one of my
music,
favorite things to do.
though, one doesn't make the end of a composition
Yeah, because
the point of
the game
of the
couldn't find me a
composition.
human player, I'm
If
pretty sure
that
they
was
matched me
so,
up
the
with a
best
computer, which
conductors
is why
would be
this is
those
going
who
so
played
well.
fastest.
Oh. Oh, Andre, what happened?
And there
What's
would
up,
be
dude? I haven't seen
composers
you in a
who wrote
while.
only finales.
Hey, Casey. Hey, what's going on, guys?
People go to a concert just to hear one crashing
Casey,
chord.
thank you so much for
because that's the
subscribing.
end.
I'm looking over
Same way
here
in
now. I
dancing.
see it. I see
You don't aim at a particular spot in the room. That's where you should arrive. The whole point of
this
the
is-
dancing is the dance.
Easy peasy.
Now,
So I
but
like
we
this
don't
card
see
too.
that
Problem is I don't have
as,
enough people out here. I need to get this destroyed
something
before I
brought by our
can get
education
them played.
into our everyday conduct.
So we're gonna do this. Take 5
We've got a
damage,
system
and
of
then
schooling
spawns a dragon,
which
and
gives a
then I'm gonna
completely
do
different
this
impression.
and get some units up there.
It's
while
all
also
graded.
doing 1 damage.
And what we do is we put the child into the corridor of this grade system with a kind of, come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And yeah, you go to kindergarten, you know, and that's a great thing because when you finish that, you'll get into first grade.
All right, so this is it.
And then
GG's.
come on, first
So
grade meets
we,
the
give
second
them
grade,
the
and so
GGs.
on, and then you get out of grade school, and you got high school,
But it's a
and
computer,
it's
it's
revving
not gonna
up, the
respond
thing is
back,
coming,
so I
then you're
ain't
going to go
stressing
to
too much.
college, and by Jove, then you get into graduate school, and when you're through with graduate
Easy
school,
first
you
win.
go out to join the world. And then you get into some racket where you're selling insurance.
What do you mean, you
And
guys?
they've
It's
got
just
that
me
quota to
here.
make.
I know what
And
you're
you're
talking
going
about.
to make
Talking about
that.
my actual
And all the time, the thing is
legit
coming.
fucking
It's coming.
Cyberjacks
It's
videos.
coming. That great thing. The
Hey,
success you're
Z's in
working
the
for.
house. What's up,
Then when
Z?
you wake up one day about 40 years old, you say, my God, I've arrived. I'm there. And you don't feel very different
I
from
notice
what
you,
you
girl.
always
No
felt.
worries. Don't worry.
And there's a slight letdown because you feel there's a
I
hoax.
notice all of my.
And there was a hoax. A dreadful hoax. They made you miss everything by expectation.
What is
Look at
that
the people
called?
who live to retire.
So
and
hold
put
up,
those
hold up,
savings
hold up.
away.
I don't know why I keep putting this away. So
And then when they're 65, they don't have any energy left. They're more or less impotent. And they go and rot in an old people's senior citizens community. Because we've
get back
simply
into
cheated
this.
ourselves
I got
the
a
whole
card.
way down the line.
New
We
card,
thought
baby
of
girl.
life by analogy with a journey, with a
So
pilgrimage,
all these cards that are glowing
which had a
green, I can
serious
actually-
purpose
I
at
can
the
actually
end. And the
upgrade
thing was
these
to get to that end,
using
success or whatever it is, or maybe
something,
heaven
I don't know what they're
after you're
called.
dead.
But I don't want to use them. I want to save them.
But
This is what I
we
got.
missed the point the whole way along.
Deal 4 damage
It
to
was
an
a
enemy
musical
from
thing,
behind.
and you were supposed to sing
totally
or
need
to
it.
dance
Not
while
my
the
life.
music was being played.
Yeah, I know this band's fucking awesome, isn't it? I went and saw them.
You had to do that thing.
Where was it? It was at the waiting room.
You
I
didn't
saw them
let
at the
it
waiting room, and it was one hell of a show. There's this one fucking hippie wouldn't
And
stop
so,
whipping his hair all over the
with this-
fucking
in this
place,
way,
and it
the
kept
human
whipping me
being
in the eye.
sometimes
God
becomes
fucking damn.
An
But
organism
yeah, it was nice. I got to see them.
for
And
self-frustration.
they just played straight through. It was really strange. They didn't take any
Let's
breaks.
take,
They didn't stop to talk to
Korzybski
people.
called
They just
man a
fucking
time binder.
went straight through their like everything. So they played a good
means that he's the animal
like 20. I had to say like 20
peculiarly
songs.
aware
Oh
of the
shit!
time sequence.
All right, this guy's leveled up as you can tell. He's
And as a
level
result
15
of this,
here.
is able to do some very
Fuck.
remarkable things.
So I
He
gotta
can
try to
predict.
play well. So my
He
guess
studies
is
what's
this guy has
happened
like
in the
level
past,
4 cards. I have level
and he
3
says the
cards for the
chances are
most
so and
part.
so of that
So
happening
this is probably
again.
gonna be
So he
a
predicts.
horrible battle.
So it's very useful to be able to
What does that
predict,
even mean? What do you mean, use you?
because that has survival
What does that
value.
even mean?
But at the same time, it creates anxiety.
Shut up.
You pay
I can't wear my glasses
for
in
this
public.
increased
They're
survivability
annoying.
involved
Alright,
in
what was
prediction
this?
by
You see a level
knowing
4.
that in the end you won't succeed.
If you're out
You're all
leveled,
gonna fall
it's pretty
apart
much GG's. You can't
by
really
one way or
do
another.
much.
It might happen
This is a
tomorrow.
stupid card.
It might happen 50 years from now.
This card is fucking dumb. I
But
don't
it
know why
all
people
comes
use it.
apart
Now
in
look,
the end.
2 damage to
People get
them
worried about
immediately.
that. They get anxious. So what they gained on the roundabout, they lost on the swings.
You know, or the dude cannot just fucking, you know, attack me like that. Instead of
So
a
then,
card.
If you see, on the other hand,
Yep, I
that
have no idea what you're
existence,
talking about now. You lost me.
this is, as I said, my
Is that level
basic
4?
metaphysical
Level
assumption,
5,
which
fuck
I won't
off.
conceal from
This guy's
you,
a cunt.
that existence is musical in nature.
And when I say he's a cunt, I
That is
don't
to
mean
say
he's
that
really
it
a
is
cunt.
not
I just mean like,
It is the play
fuck this guy, pay to win.
of all kinds of patterns. We can look upon different creatures as we look at different games, as we look at
I
chess,
know,
checkers, backgammon,
I know
tennis.
they are, but they don't stay on my
There's the tree
face.
game,
If I look
the
down, they
beetle
fall
game,
off.
grass game.
They
Or
get
you can
dirty.
look at them
Like
as you look at
I like
different
being able
styles
to
of
see.
music, mazurkas, waltzes,
You know yourself.
sonata, etc., etc.
You're
All down the
so-
line.
you're
There are all
so-
these different things doing their stuff. And they're going to do to do to
Fuck.
do to do to hooji doo do, you know, in different rhythms.
Okay.
And we're doing that.
Dragon, they just added dragon
We're in a
cards in this
flying
game,
saucer
and they're
from Mars or somewhere.
they're
and
not
you came and
broken,
looked,
but they're really
trying to make
hard
out
to
what
deal
was
with.
living on this world. From about 10,000 feet at night,
I
or
don't
early
have a
morning,
Kinsey card.
you would see these great ganglia
I'm sorry, I
with
don't have one.
tentacles going out all over the place. And early in the morning, you see little
Get those
blobs of
image-
luminous particles
off.
going into the middle of them. See?
So
And then,
no matter what, I
in the late
gotta kill this
afternoon
guy,
or
so
early evening, it
I
would spit
can
them all
do
out
this at least.
And they say, well, this thing breathes.
I
And
mean,
it
that's
does it in
probably
a
good
special
there.
rhythm. It goes in and out, in and out, in and out once every 24 hours. But then it rests
It's
a
not
day
looking
and
good
doesn't
for
spit
me.
so much. It just spits in a different way. That's a kind of irregularity, and then it starts spitting all over again the same way. Well,
It's definitely not
very
looking good for me.
interesting. That's
Fucking
the kind
hell.
of thing we have. See? This is something that goes this way.
People who play with this deck are people who
Just
just
like
want to
music
attack your
goes
base as much as possible. Dude, I hate
Did you
this
ever see a
deck.
lady go this way, go that way? That's what it does.
Alright, so I can't use you. Go away.
And when people
That's not what I wanted.
when you think a bit what people really want to do with their time, what do they do when they're
Try
not being
doing
pushed
this.
around and
I
somebody's
mean,
telling
I
them
doubt
what
I'm going to
do?
last any much
They
longer
like
because I only got 6, and then these
they
guys
like
are
to
going to
make
bring
rhythm.
it back down to 1. And all he has to do is play
They
one
listen to
card,
music,
and
sit
that's
down,
it.
or they
GG's.
sing, or they
So,
do
I'm
something
gonna give him the GG.
of a rhythmic nature, playing cards or bowling or raising their elbows. Everybody wants to spend their time swinging. And that's the nature of this whole thing we're in, you see. It likes to swing. That's why it does it. One moment you feel like you're a puppet. You're just on the end of strings. The next minute, you suddenly realize that everything that you are aware of is inside your brain.
Don't laugh at me, man.
So it's all you. And you get the two feelings go together.
So I
But
can
I'm
use
doing
him,
it all,
and he'll
but it's
walk
doing
over
me.
and kill these guys. But
And this worries
when I
people
kill,
when they get
it's
this
gonna
feeling,
give this
because
guy
they don't know
6
which to
strength.
decide for.
and it's going to be
And they don't see how to
GG's
put
either
the
way,
two together.
Pretty sure. I mean, I could
Welcome to
no,
The Love of Wisdom with Alan Watts.
Yep, that's it. GG's.
As one of the century's most eloquent
the Gs.
philosophers, Alan
And
Watts
goodbye.
introduced a generation in the West to the fascinating ideas of the Far East, the wisdoms of the Orient. In the 1960s and
I
early
love
70s, he
advertisements in my
lectured throughout the
fucking YouTube
English-speaking world,
You know,
and
I
was
only pay
recorded
for
in a
YouTube
variety
Premium
of
for
settings,
no reason whatsoever.
from seminars aboard his ferry boat, the Vallejo, and the guided by changes in a group of engineers, and the GUI.
In an age
Jesus Christ.
we're living in an age when
But at least I'm doing stuff, you know? Like, I can
there's
get my
been an
my
enormous
bullshit here done.
proliferation of techniques for subjecting every kind of natural process outside the human skin
I need
and
the
now
keyboard. I don't know why I
increasingly
keep bringing that up,
inside
like
the
I need to
human
use it or
skin
something.
to some form of rational control.
Jackacus, look what a nice
And
guy. Already
as
coming
we
in with the good
succeed in
games.
doing this,
What a nice guy.
it also becomes apparent that we're failing. that the
I wish I
process
could type to them. If
becomes
you're on the computer, you should be
of
able to
such a
like
high
chat
degree of
with each other
complexity
instead of just doing these fucking
that we begin to
bullshit
feel that
here.
we're standing in our own way.
But that's all I get. This is my only communication with them.
That everybody complains the state of affairs in the modern world, in the technological world, is so complicated
He's
that nobody can understand it.
what's it called?
And nobody really knows what to do.
Fuck.
The Western model of the universe is political and engineering or architectural. And therefore, as one understands the operations of a
It's
machine
also level 2.
by analysis of
And
its
this?
parts, by
Level
separating
3.
them
Alright, so his cards aren't that strong.
into their original bits, we have
Which is,
bitted
not a bad thing for me.
the cosmos
Wait, I should
and
do-
see everything going on in terms of bits of information, and have found that this
Let's
is
get a card
extremely
out there.
fruitful in
I'll take
enabling
the
us
damage.
to control what's happening. After all, the whole of Western technology is the result of bitting. And so we thing the world, that is to say, in order to measure a curve, you have to reduce it to point instants.
Oh fuck. I
And
forgot
apply
to
the
do
calculus, so in exactly the same way, in order to discuss or talk about the universe, you have to reduce it to things. But each thing, or think, is, as it were, one grasp of that spotlight. Going chirp, 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 like this, you see?
that. Okay, you just played a bunch of cards.
So we reduce
Huh.
the infinite wiggliness
You.
of the world to
Man, that's
grasps or bits. We're getting back to biting, you see, the idea of the teeth,
Keep forgetting to log into things.
to
I should be
grasps
logging
of
into.
thought. And
There
so
we go.
we
Alright.
thereby describe the world in terms
I got a notification. What is this?
of things, just as that fisherman
Alright, thank you.
could describe his view by the number of net hole over through which the view was showing.
Commander Root has followed.
But the
Oh my God,
problem
I
that
didn't see that.
arises is this.
Thank you, Commander Root, so much.
First of all, very obviously,
Sorry, Mr.
everybody
Boop.
knows, I hardly need to mention it. Go to the
Yeah,
science
7,
of
let's
medicine.
try this.